The message that destroyed my family appeared 3 days before Christmas, glaring from my phone screen like a neon sign announcing my own funeral. We've decided it's best not to invite Melanie to our Christmas party. Not a private text. Not a difficult phone call. A public execution in our family group chat where everyone could witness, my brothers Blake and Dominic, my sister Serenity, Aunt Eleanor, Uncle Winston, all of them watching as I was uninvited from Christmas like I'd committed some unforgivable sin. I stared at my screen, the world narrowing to those words and the response that followed, every single family member hitting that message with a thumbs up emoji. Not one question. Not one objection. Just silent, unanimous agreement that Christmas would be better without me. My name is Melanie Thorne, and that moment taught me the most painful lesson of my life. Sometimes the people who claim to love you unconditionally are the ones who see you as nothing more than a walking bank account. My fingers trembled as I typed my reply, fighting the urge to scream through the keyboard. Okay, I respect your decision and I won't come to your party. But you won't see me either. Respect my decision. Their response? Clown face emojis. From all of them. As if I were the punchline to some inside joke I wasn't supposed to understand. I threw my phone across the couch, the thud against the cushion punctuating the awful silence of my apartment. That's when the truth crashed into me. This wasn't about Christmas. This was punishment. This was payback for the dinner a month earlier when I'd committed the cardinal sin of saying no to their demands. Let me take you back to that night, the dinner that revealed who my family really was. We gathered monthly at Mom's house, all of us pretending to be the picture-perfect close-knit family. That evening, I actually felt good walking in. I'd just closed a major account at work, my new dress fit perfectly, and for once, I genuinely looked forward to family time. That feeling evaporated before I'd even finished my appetizer. Mom's eyes had that strange gleam, the one that always appeared when she was about to announce something that would benefit her at someone else's expense. She cleared her throat dramatically, tapping her glass with a spoon. So, she announced, voice dripping with artificial excitement, we've been talking before Melanie arrived, and we've made an exciting decision. We're all going to Hawaii for Christmas. Serenity practically vibrated with enthusiasm, her voice breathless. I've been researching hotels all week. Everything's basically booked already, but there are still some really nice suites available. They're pricey, but it'll be so worth it. I tried to match their energy, imagining warm beaches and family memories. Oh, that sounds fun. How much do I need to chip in? The laughter that erupted felt like ice water down my spine. They exchanged glances, those familiar looks that excluded me from their private understanding. What's so funny? I asked, my voice suddenly small in the large dining room. Aunt Eleanor leaned forward, patting my hand with calculated condescension. Oh honey, you're not chipping in. We decided you're paying for all of us. The silence that followed was absolute. I could hear the second hand on the wall clock, marking the moments of my stunned disbelief. Mom nodded as if confirming the most reasonable arrangement in the world. We calculated everything, your dad and me, Blake, Dominic, Serenity, Eleanor, and Winston. It'll be about $18,000 for 2 weeks, but we'll be staying at the most luxurious resort with all the excursions and spa treatments and everything. $18,000. Not a contribution. Not a shared expense. The entire cost of a lavish vacation for 7 people that they'd planned without me but expected me to fund completely. Wait, I said, my voice steadier than I felt, you want me to pay $18,000 for everyone's vacation? Well, you have the savings, Mom shrugged, as casual as if discussing the weather. You make good money and you're always putting it away. It's not like you spend it on anything important. Serenity's next words felt like a slap. I saw your bank statement once when you left it on the counter. You've got over $100,000 saved up. This would barely make a dent. The violation stole my breath. She'd looked at my private financial information and was now weaponizing it against me. And suddenly, like sharks sensing blood, everyone started circling. Uncle Winston began describing the yacht he wanted to charter. Aunt Eleanor insisted on the presidential suite. My brothers debated which excursions would be most impressive for their Instagram accounts. They talked over each other, building fantasy upon fantasy with my money, as if I weren't sitting right there. I slammed my hand down, making the water glasses jump. I'm not paying for your Hawaiian vacation. I'm not spending my money on your expensive fantasies. The temperature dropped 20 degrees in 2 seconds. Mom's face hardened into something I barely recognized, not hurt, not disappointment, just cold calculation. Melanie, you're really distancing yourself from this family by refusing to help us. Help them? This wasn't help. This was grand theft with a family discount. A family doesn't just decide how someone else should spend their money without even asking first, I said, my voice shaking with a rage I'd never felt before. The rest of dinner passed in frigid silence, the only sounds the scraping of forks against plates and the occasional clink of a glass. I left as soon as I could, and nobody said goodbye. That was a month ago. Until the Christmas exile message, I hadn't heard from any of them, which was strange because usually my phone buzzed constantly with their financial emergencies. Sitting alone after the Christmas group chat disaster, watching those clown emojis mock me from my screen, everything finally clicked into place. I wasn't their daughter or sister. I wasn't even a person with feelings. I was their ATM with legs. The realization crushed and liberated me simultaneously. I'd been trying to buy their love for years without even realizing it. After college, I'd landed a fantastic job at a marketing firm, making more money than anyone in my family ever had. When Mom mentioned they were struggling with the mortgage, I started helping. When Blake couldn't afford tuition, I paid for his classes. When Serenity's car broke down, I bought her a new one. When Aunt Eleanor got sick, I covered her medical bills. I thought I was being a good daughter, a good sister. I thought I was showing them I cared. But really, I was teaching them that my value was directly proportional to my bank account. 2 months before the Hawaii ambush, my boss Callum had called me into his office. I remember how the late afternoon sun streamed through his windows, casting long shadows across his desk as he leaned forward, eyes bright with opportunity. Melanie, he'd said, I want you to relocate to Denver and run our new branch office. Huge promotion, regional manager, salary bump that would make your current income look like pocket change. He spread his hands, painting a picture with his words. You'd be building something from the ground up. Complete creative control, bigger budget, your own team. Plus, Denver's a great city, mountains, art scene, fantastic food. I turned him down without hesitation. I appreciate the offer, Callum, but I can't leave my family. They need me here. He nodded, disappointed but understanding. Family's important. But if you change your mind, let me know soon. I can't hold the position forever. Now, with those clown emojis burning in my vision, I realized what an absolute fool I'd been. They needed me here, all right. They needed my bank account here. I grabbed my phone and called Callum. It was almost 9 p.m., but he'd given me his personal number for emergencies. This felt like an emergency, not just for my career, but for my soul. Melanie? Everything okay? His voice carried genuine concern. Hey Callum. That Denver position, is it still available? There was a pause. We haven't filled it yet, but we're close. Why? Did something change? Everything changed. I want the job. I could hear his smile through the phone. That's fantastic news. We could have you out there in about 2 months. Send me whatever I need to sign. After hanging up, I felt a strange lightness spreading through my chest, like I'd been underwater for years and could finally breathe. For the first time since that disaster dinner, I felt like I was doing something right, not for them, but for me. Christmas came and went. I spent it alone, ordering takeout and watching movies. It should have been lonely, but honestly, it was peaceful. No drama, no demands, no conversations that inevitably circled back to money. Around dinner time, I made the mistake of checking social media. Mom had posted photos from their Christmas party, everyone gathered around the tree, big smiles, fancy dinner spread on the table. The caption read, "Perfect Christmas celebration with all the people who matter." So grateful for a holiday without unnecessary drama and negativity. Unnecessary drama and negativity. That's what I was to them. But instead of crying, I laughed. They had no idea what was coming. The day after Christmas, I called my friend Curtis, who'd helped me buy my house 3 years earlier. I need a favor. I want to sell my house. Fast. Sell? But you love that place. You spent months picking out paint colors. Plans change. How quick can we move on this? Curtis knows me well enough to recognize my determined tone. Market's hot right now. I could probably have it sold within a month if we price it right. Do it. I'll clean it up this weekend, and you can start showing it next week. January passed in blessed silence. Not a single call or text from any of them, which suited me perfectly. It gave me time to pack and plan without interference. The automatic transfers to my family were still running, the mortgage help for mom and dad, Blake's rent money, Dominic's car payment, Serenity's credit card payments. I left them alone for now. Let them think everything was normal while I plotted my escape. By mid-February, Curtis had found buyers, a young couple with a baby who fell in love with the home office I'd set up. The irony wasn't lost on me. I'd been saving up to maybe start a family someday, but my actual family had driven me away from that dream. I sold most of my furniture, packed the rest into a moving truck, and within a week, I was breathing the crisp mountain air of Denver. The company had arranged a temporary apartment while I got settled, which was perfect since I didn't want to rush into buying anything. The move felt like shedding an old skin. Each mile between me and my hometown lightened the weight I'd been carrying for years. For the first time in my adult life, I was making a decision purely for myself. I spent the next several weeks working with Callum to set up the new branch office. We hired staff, designed the workspace, established client relationships. During my downtime, I explored neighborhoods, looking for a place to call my own. After touring dozens of houses, I found a perfect little place with a garden in the back that was bigger than anything I'd had before. I could already picture myself there with coffee in the mornings, maybe learning to grow vegetables or flowers. I moved into my new house on a Friday and opened the branch office the following Monday. It was surreal, my own team, my own office, my own decisions to make. I felt more in control of my life than I had in years. That first day at work, sitting in my new office overlooking downtown Denver, I did something I'd been looking forward to for weeks. I logged into my online banking and canceled every single automatic transfer I had set up for my family. The mortgage help for mom and dad? Gone. Blake's monthly rent assistance? Canceled. Dominic's car payment? Done. Serenity's credit card payments? Not anymore. As I clicked through each cancellation, a strange smile spread across my face. For the first time in years, every dollar I earned was going to be mine. The relief was incredible. 2 weeks later, my phone started exploding. First mom calling. I hit decline. Then dad. Same treatment. Then Blake. By day's end, I had 12 missed calls and about 20 text messages. I listened to one of mom's voicemails just to confirm what I already knew. Melanie, honey, the mortgage payment didn't go through. The bank called and said there wasn't enough money in the account. We're counting on that transfer from you. Please call me back as soon as you get this. Her voice sounded stressed, but not worried yet. She probably figured it was just some banking error that would get sorted out quickly. The next few voicemails grew progressively more frantic. Dad left one that was basically him demanding I call them immediately. Blake's message was just whining about his rent being due. I deleted every single message without responding. A week later, the calls started coming from Dominic and Serenity too. Dominic left a pathetic voicemail. Melanie, I don't know what's going on, but my car payment got declined and they're threatening to repo it. I need that money you always send. Where are you? Serenity's message was more direct. What the hell, Melanie? My credit card company called saying my payment bounced. You've been covering that for 2 years. I have bills due. Still, I didn't answer. It was actually satisfying, watching them scramble without their personal bank account. 3 days later, I got a text from mom that made me laugh out loud. Melanie, we went to your house and there are strangers living there. Where are you? We need to talk. I could picture it perfectly, them showing up at my old address, probably planning to guilt me face to face into turning the money back on, only to find confused new homeowners who had no idea who these people were. That evening, I went through my contacts and blocked every number I had for my family. Mom, Dad, Blake, Dominic, Serenity, Aunt Eleanor, Uncle Winston, all of them. I was done listening to their financial complaints. A month passed in blissful silence. I was settling into my new life, making friends at work, exploring Denver's neighborhoods and restaurants. For the first time in years, I wasn't stressed about money because I wasn't giving it all away to ungrateful relatives. Then my phone rang with a number I didn't recognize. I almost didn't answer, but something made me pick up. Melanie? Thank God. It's Charlotte. Everyone's been looking for you. Your parents are freaking out. What happened? Charlotte was my cousin on Dad's side. We'd always gotten along well, and she'd never asked me for money. I moved to Denver for work. I didn't tell anyone because honestly, Charlotte, I'm done with all of them. Done? What do you mean done? So I told her everything. The Hawaii vacation demand, the Christmas exclusion, the clown emojis, all of it. Charlotte listened without interrupting. Jesus, Melanie, I had no idea they were treating you like that. Now you know why I left and why I'm not sending them money anymore. Is that why your dad called my mom crying about losing the house? And why Blake's been posting on Facebook about needing roommates? That made me smile. Probably. They'll figure it out. They managed before I had money. Charlotte was quiet for a moment. Melanie, I get why you're angry. What they did was horrible. But your mom's been calling me every day asking if I've heard from you. She seems genuinely worried. She's worried about her mortgage payment, not about me. Maybe. But what if she's not? What if they actually realize they screwed up? I laughed without humor. Then they can apologize. But I warned them they wouldn't see me again, and they responded with clown faces. So as far as I'm concerned, they made their choice. After talking with Charlotte, I sat in my living room looking out at my garden. The previous owners had planted roses that were just starting to bloom. It was peaceful here, quiet, no one demanding money or taking me for granted. A few months later, I changed my phone number entirely. I gave the new number to Charlotte and a few close friends, but that was it. I wanted a completely fresh start. My new life in Denver blossomed like those roses in my garden. The branch office exceeded every target we'd set, and Callum was talking about opening another location with me overseeing both. I'd made friends with my neighbors, joined a hiking group, even started dating Emmett, who worked at an outdoor gear store downtown. Emmett was everything my family wasn't. He paid for his own meals when we went out, never asked to borrow money, and actually seemed interested in me as a person rather than what I could do for him. One evening in late summer, I was checking my email when I saw a message from an address I didn't recognize. The subject line made my stomach drop, from Serenity. I stared at it for a full minute before opening it. Melanie, I know you probably don't want to hear from any of us, but I had to try. We've all been talking and we realized we messed up. We were wrong to ask you to pay for Hawaii, and we were wrong to exclude you from Christmas. We don't need your money anymore. We just want our sister back. I found your email through some mutual friends. Please, can we talk? We miss you. I read it 3 times. Part of me wanted to believe they'd actually learned something. But the bigger part remembered those clown face emojis and the years of being treated like nothing more than a source of cash. I closed the email without responding. If they really wanted to make things right, they'd have to do a lot more than send one email after months of silence. Life in Denver continued to exceed my expectations. The mountains were incredible. I'd never lived anywhere with views like this. Emmett and I hiked every weekend, and I was getting into the best shape of my life. Work was thriving too. Our branch had exceeded every target Callum had set, and he was already talking about my future in senior leadership. I'd made real friends here. My neighbor June and I had coffee every Tuesday morning before work. There was a book club I joined where we actually talked about books instead of who needed money for what. I'd even started taking a pottery class on Thursday nights, something I'd always wanted to try but never had time for when I was busy being everyone's personal bank. It was astonishing how much lighter I felt without my family's constant financial demands hanging over me. I'd calculated it once. Over 5 years, I'd given them almost $60,000. That was a decent car or a down payment on a really nice house or a year of traveling the world. Instead, it had gone to people who saw me as nothing more than a source of easy money. About 6 months after Serenity's email, my phone rang while I was making dinner. It was Charlotte again. "Hey, how's Denver treating you?" "Really good, actually. How are things with you?" "I'm fine. But Melanie, I need to tell you something. Your parents lost the house. Foreclosure. Apparently they couldn't make the payments without your help, and they couldn't qualify for a modification because your dad's credit is shot from some old business debts. They had to move in with your Aunt Eleanor." I felt a weird mix of emotions. Part of me felt sad. That house had been my childhood home, but mostly I just felt nothing. They'd made their choice when they decided I was disposable. How are Blake and Dominic doing? Blake had to get 3 roommates and he's working 2 jobs now. Dominic's car got repossessed, so he's taking the bus everywhere. Serenity had to move back in with your parents at Eleanor's place because she couldn't afford her apartment. And they're all actually working now? Charlotte laughed, but it wasn't a happy sound. "Oh, they're working now. Serenity got a job at Target. Blake's doing food delivery and working at a warehouse. Dominic finally got hired at some call center. Funny how quickly they found jobs when the free money stopped coming." After we hung up, I sat on my couch thinking about what Charlotte had told me. 5 years ago, hearing that my family was struggling would have sent me running back with my checkbook open. Now I felt sorry for them, but not sorry enough to fix their problems. They'd had years to figure out how to support themselves. Instead, they'd gotten comfortable living off my generosity while planning expensive vacations with my money. Maybe having to actually work for a living would teach them something about the value of money and relationships. Emmett came over that night and found me quiet. "Everything okay? You seem distracted." I told him about Charlotte's call and watched his face carefully as he processed the information. "That's rough," he said finally. "Do you feel bad about it?" I thought I would, but I really don't. "Is that terrible?" Emmett shook his head. "Melanie, you supported them for years, and they repaid you by excluding you from Christmas and treating you like garbage. You don't owe them anything." That's what I loved about Emmett. He was straightforward and honest, but never cruel. He saw situations clearly without the emotional baggage I carried. A year passed. Denver went from feeling like a temporary escape to feeling like home. I bought a better car, took a vacation to Europe with June, and even started looking at houses with bigger gardens. The pottery class had led to me setting up a little studio in my basement where I could work on projects in the evenings. Then, on a random Tuesday morning, another email appeared from Serenity. This one was longer. "Melanie, I know you didn't respond to my last email, and I understand why. We all know we treated you horribly. Losing the house was a wake-up call for all of us. We've been working and supporting ourselves for over a year now, and we realize how much we took advantage of you. We don't want your money. We just want our sister back. Mom cries about you all the time. She keeps saying she never should have sent that message about Christmas. Blake and Dominic feel terrible about the clown emojis. We all do. I know we don't deserve forgiveness, but we love you and we miss you. If there's any chance you'd be willing to talk to us, we'll do whatever it takes to make this right." I read it twice, then closed my laptop and went to make coffee. The thing was, I believed Serenity was sincere. I believed they probably did feel bad about how things went down. But feeling bad after the consequences hit wasn't the same as actually understanding what they'd done wrong. They'd shown me their true colors when they thought I'd always be there to bail them out. The Hawaii vacation demand, the Christmas exclusion, the clown faces, that was who they really were when they thought I had no choice but to take it. Now that they'd lost their free money and had to face real consequences, suddenly they wanted their sister back. But where was their love and respect when I was paying their bills? Where was their appreciation when I was sacrificing my own financial security for theirs? I thought about Emmett, who'd never asked me for a dime. About June, who insisted on splitting every coffee bill. About my coworkers who valued my ideas and treated me as an equal. About my hiking group where people liked me for who I was, not what I could give them. I had a real family now, one I'd chosen, one that chose me back for the right reasons. I deleted Serenity's email without responding. Maybe someday I'd be ready to let them back into my life. Maybe they'd prove they'd really changed and learned to see me as more than a bank account. But that day wasn't today, and I was okay with that. I had a good life here in Denver. A life where I mattered for who I was, not what I could provide. And that was worth more than any family reunion could ever be. Sometimes the hardest thing about walking away isn't the leaving, it's staying gone long enough to remember who you are when you're not being used by the people who claim to love you. Thanks for listening, and if this story resonated with you, give it a thumbs up so others can find it too. Don't forget to comment and subscribe for more stories about finding your worth when others can't see it. Remember, your value isn't measured by what you give, but by who you are.